train. Look up there. It says 1960.
நம்ம இப்போ எங்கே இருக்குன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா குயின் மைன் டூர் அப்படின்ற ஒரு காப்பர் மைனுக்குள்ளே போய் பார்க்க போகிறோம். கூட்டு போக போகிறாங்க ட்ரெயினில். உள்ளார வந்து ஒரு 500 ஃபீட் உள்ள ட்ரெயினில் கூட்டு போய் எப்படி வந்து ப்ரொடக்ஷன் பண்ணாங்க, காப்பர் ப்ரொடக்ஷன் பண்ணாங்க அப்படின்றத பார்க்கலாம் நம்ம. அதுக்கு முன்னாடி பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இந்த குயின் மைன் டூர், இந்த குயின் மைன் அப்படின்றது சவுத் ஈஸ்ட் அரிசோனாவில் இருக்குது. ஸோ சவுத் ஈஸ்ட் அரிசோனாவில் ஃபீனிக்ஸ்லேருந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா எக்ஸாக்டாக 200 மைல்ஸ் ஃபீனிக்ஸ் டு பிஸ்பின்ற சிட்டியில் இந்த காப்பர் குயின் மைன் அமைஞ்சிருக்கு. எப்போ கண்டுபிடிக்கப்பட்டது அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா 1870s. அது எதுக்காக அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இந்த மலைகளை சுற்றி போருக்காக அப்பாச்சி இண்டியன்ஸ் அப்படின்ற ஒரு போர்ப்படை வந்து இருந்திருக்குது. அந்த போர்ப்படையை பார்த்துக்கிறதுக்காக ஒருத்தர் வந்து இருந்திருக்காரு. அப்போ பார்த்தீங்கன்னா குடிக்கிறதுக்கான தண்ணீர் வந்து நல்ல தண்ணீர் வந்து கிடைக்கல அவங்களுக்கு. அப்போ அதனால் வந்து என்ன பண்ணிருக்காங்க, அப்படியே வந்து இங்கே வந்து தேடிட்டு வரும்போது இங்கே ஒரு அழகான இடம் வந்து இருந்திருக்குது, ஒரு காப்பர் மைன் இருக்குது அப்படின்றத கண்டுபிடிச்சிருக்காங்க. அது கண்டுபிடிச்சதுக்கப்புறம் இந்த இடத்துக்கோட பேர் வந்து ரக்பர் அப்படி சொல்லிட்டு வச்சுருக்காங்க. 1870ஆம் ஆண்டு கண்டுபிடிச்சி 1975ஆம் ஆண்டு, அதாவது ஏறக்குறைய ஒரு 100 வருஷம் இந்த காப்பர் மைனை வந்து ப்ரொடக்ஷன் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. அங்கே வந்து 22% காப்பர் மைன் இருக்கிறதா வந்து கண்டுபிடிச்சி ப்ரொடக்ஷன் போயிருக்கு. 100 வருஷம் ப்ரொடக்ஷன் போயிருக்கு. அந்த 100 வருஷத்துக்கு அப்புறம் தான் வந்து ப்ரொடக்ஷன் வந்து ஸ்டாப் பண்ணிருக்காங்க. அதுக்கப்புறம் வந்து இதை வந்து பார்த்திங்கன்னா குயின் மைன் டூர்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஒரு விசிட்டிங் பிளேஸாக மாற்றிட்டாங்க. நம்ம உள்ளே வந்து எப்படி வந்து ப்ரொடக்ஷன் பண்ணாங்க அப்படின்றத ட்ரெயின் வழியாக கூப்பிட்டு போயிட்டு உள்ளே 500 ஃபீட்டு இந்த மலைக்கு கீழே போயிட்டு காமிக்க போகிறாங்க. எப்படின்றத நம்ம உள்ளே போய் பார்க்கலாம். அவங்க வந்து எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணுவாங்க எப்படி ப்ரொடக்ஷன் பண்ணாங்க என்னன்னு சொல்லிட்டு பார்க்கலாம். வாங்க உள்ளே போய் பார்க்கலாம். மேலே பார்த்தீங்கன்னா 4 டிசைன் இருக்குது, காயின் டிசைன். கீழே வந்து ஒரு மிஷின் இருக்குது. நம்மக்கிட்ட வந்து ஒரு ரவுண்ட் ஷேப்பில் ஒரு காயின் இருந்துச்சுன்னா அந்த காயினை வந்து மேலே வச்சுட்டு கீழே வந்து சக்கரத்தை வந்து ரொட்டேட் பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னு சொன்னால் அப்படி ரொட்டேட் பண்ணும்போது பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அந்த பேனி பிஞ்சர் மாடலில் அந்த 4 டைப் ஆஃப் மாடலில் வந்து டிசைன் வந்து நமக்கு காயின் வந்து வந்துடும். 1985 வந்து கம்ப்ளீட்டாக க்ளோஸ் பண்ணிட்டாங்க இந்த மைன். ஏன் க்ளோஸ் பண்ணாங்க அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா 1935 to 1945 நமக்குலாம் தெரியும் வேர்ல்டு வார் 2 நடந்துச்சு அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு. அதனால தான் இந்த ப்ரொடக்ஷன் வந்து டோட்டலாக கம்ப்ளீட்டாக ஸ்டாப் பண்ணிருக்காங்க. ஸோ ரிட்டர்ன்ஸ் எதுவுமே கிடைக்கல அப்படிங்கிற பட்சத்தில் கம்ப்ளீட்டாக க்ளோஸ் பண்ணிருக்காங்க. ஸோ இப்போ நம்ம பார்க்குறதெல்லாம் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அதனுடைய சாம்பிள்ஸ் பாருங்கள். கல்லுலாம் எவ்வளோ அழகாக இருக்குது பாருங்கள். ஸோ அவ்வளோ தரம் வாய்ந்த கல் வந்து இங்கே கிடைக்குது. அந்த கல்லுலேருந்து தான் வந்து நமக்கு வந்து காப்பர் வந்து ஃபில்டர் பண்ணி எடுத்துருக்குறாங்க. பாருங்கள் எப்படி பல பலன்னு இருக்குன்னு சொல்லிட்டு. வந்து ஒரு டிவி அறை அப்படின்ற மாதிரி ஒரு ரூம் ஒன்று கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. நம்ம போறவங்களுக்கு வெயிட் பண்ணிட்டு பார்க்கறதுக்காக. ஏன்னா வந்து ட்ரெயின் வந்து 2 hours ஒன்ஸ் தான் நமக்கு வந்து ஷெட்யூலிங். ஸோ அந்த ஷெட்யூல் வந்து 2 hours ஒன்ஸ். ஒரு ட்ரெயின் போச்சுன்னா அது வந்து ரிட்டர்ன் வரதுக்கு 2 மணி நேரம் ஆகும். ஸோ அது வரைக்கும் நம்ம வெயிட் பண்ணிருக்கணும். அதுக்கப்புறம் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இப்போ நம்ம ரெடி ஆகிட்டோம். ஸ்லாட் வைஸாக ஓடுறாங்க உள்ள. நம்ம சப்போஸ் டிக்கெட் எடுக்கல ஆன்லைனில் அப்படின்னு சொன்னால் நம்ம வந்து நேராக வந்து இங்கே டிக்கெட் எடுத்துக்கலாம்.
Come in on a separate motor, and the purpose of that is
இது வந்து கைட் பண்ணுறாங்க. என்னென்னலாம் கொடுப்பாங்க உள்ளே போகிறதுக்கு. ஹெல்மெட் கொடுப்பாங்க, லைட் கொடுப்பாங்க, அந்த ஒரு ஷர்ட் கொடுப்பாங்க. அந்த சேஃப்டி ஷர்ட் மாதிரி இருக்கும் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அதெல்லாம் வந்து கொடுப்பாங்க. அவர் வந்து எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கிறாரு. பாருங்கள் ரெடி ஆகிட்டோம். நம்ம வந்து உள்ளே கூட்டு போகிறாங்க, ட்ரெயினில் கூட்டு போகிறாங்க. அதான் சொல்லிட்டு இருக்காரு. 1500 ஃபீட் வந்து உள்ளே கூட்டு போகிறாங்க ட்ரெயினில். நம்ம பார்க்கலாம் வாங்க எப்படி இருக்கு என்னன்னு சொல்லிட்டு. நம்ம ஹெல்மெட் நம்ம பேட்ச் வந்து ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கூட்டு போறாங்க. ஸோ நெக்ஸ்ட் வந்து என்ன கொடுக்குறாருன்னா திஸ் இஸ் a light, right? Yeah.
You're going to the back door.
Thank you.
Go to the back door there.
ட்ரில்லிங் மிஷின் தான் வந்து யூஸ் பண்ணிருக்காங்க பாருங்க. பாருங்கள், இந்த ட்ரெயினில் தான் நம்ம போகிறோம். இந்த மாதிரி வந்து ட்ரெயின் வந்து இந்த மாதிரி ட்ரெயின் தான் வந்து உள்ளே போயிட்டு ஆட்களை வந்து வேலைக்காக உள்ளே கூட்டு போயிருக்காங்க. லேபர்ஸ்லாம் அந்த மாதிரி ட்ரெயினில் தான் உள்ளே போட்டு போயிருக்காங்க. இங்கே பாருங்கள், ஹார்ஸ்.
Let's go ahead and start on
Yeah.
the front. Anytime you have questions, feel free to ask them. Feel free to take all the pictures you want. Everybody ready to go underground? Ready. All right, let's do it. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
One face low.
How many deep are we going? Wait, like how many deep are we going?
Going in 1,500 feet.
We go in 1,500 feet. That's it.
One more bell. Key.
600 feet.
Okay, folks, everything you're going to see today, everything you have seen is original to this mine. Mining did begin in Bisbee in 1878. This is one of the first tunnels cut. The Queen was one of the originals cut as well. But if you see behind me, you see these 4 doors. Well, those are called transfer chute doors. You have one of them in each location going through here. The purpose of those, not every level of a mine has access to the outside when you're dealing with copper. So the 5 levels above us, in order to get their ore out of here, they actually dump it. There's a chute behind this, 20 feet across, 15 feet deep, and it goes up about 350 feet. It is a vertical. And so everybody at the levels above us, as they're mining, since they don't have access to the outside, they dump their ore into that chute. It comes down here, and then this is a 1-ton cart, as is this one. And the guy down here, known as a trammer, he opens one of these doors just under halfway, fills this cart about 3/4 full, and then he would push it out of the mine. So he's looking at pushing about 2,800 pounds. He's going to push it about 1,200 feet, dump it, push it back, fill it up, and go back out again. Now he does that 6 days a week, 10 hours a day. It's a beginning miner's position. And they continued that until 1903. In 1903, in this mine, Phelps Dodge brought in mules. At the same time, Phelps Dodge began buying the mines up under Phelps Dodge Consolidated. C&A was also buying mines, but Phelps Dodge and C&A both experimented with mules underground about the same time frame, and eventually Phelps Dodge bought all of C&A holdings. But what they would do is bring the mule underground. It would be here for about 3 to 4 years, and then it would be taken out. But it would stay underground the entire time. And the purpose of that, they continued using the mules from 1903 until the late 1930s. The mule's trained on the surface. He pulls 4 of these carts, and this is what he hears. That's the sound of the carts hooking up. As soon as the mule heard that 4th hookup, he would automatically begin to pull. Now the mule driver rode on top of the ore in the first cart and controlled the mule. Well, some of the miners decided they were going to hook up cart number 5, because by this time they're making more money by the more ore they move. Well, when they hook up cart number 5, the mule would refuse to pull. And in fact, the mule would sit down. When he heard number 5 disconnect, so the mule would stand up, look over its shoulders at the miners, and start braying as though it's laughing at them, and pull it out. It would not pull that pistol. Now, the mules were well cared for. They had the best feed available. They were extremely expensive. They were better cared for than the miners in a lot of respects. But once a mule was taken out of here, the company gave it away. Now, contrary to what you may hear, the mules did not go blind underground. When they were taken out of here, their eyes were covered with blinders, so they put them in a barn, dark barn, slowly reintroduced light, their eyes are healed up, and then they were given away. But they were groomed daily. They were examined by a veterinarian every day. Any miner that was caught slapping a mule around got fired. Now the mule could kick a miner, and nobody cared. But you slap a mule, and you're in trouble. So that's basically the operation. In 1908, see this bare copper wire? That carries 240 volts. That was used for a trolley. When you leave today, you go out the front door, off to the left, chain link fence. Beside the chain link fence, you'll see this machine sitting there, 46 is emblazed across the front. That is a trolley. Those could pull 40 carts out of here, twice this size, at about 20 miles an hour. So production really went up. 1920s, that motor you came in on called a Manchee came underground. The reason for it, it's always been battery operated. Your trolleys can only go so far into the mountain because underground transformers were not in vogue, could not be used at that point in time. So degrading of the electricity, the trolley couldn't pull, so they took the small engines deep into the mountain. So they could pull small carts, they'd pull 20 carts about this size at about 5 to 8 miles an hour. And that was how they'd move the ore out of this area.
Oh.
Any questions about any of that?
Was there only copper or gold also here?
We produced, and I'll actually show you some gold at our next stop. We did produce 6 major metals. We are a copper mine. But we produce gold, silver, lead, zinc, and magnesia as well. We're the 4th largest producers of gold in the world. So yeah, a lot of gold did come out here. But it's going to be different than what you're used to seeing in your gold mine. It'll go as fast as the boss can pedal it forwards and backwards, but it has no brakes. So a miner would get mad at the boss, he'd put a piece of wood on the track, the boss hit that piece of wood and he would be untracked.
Okay.
So that was a kind of a way of keeping them in line.
How much percentage has been produced for copper and gold?
There were 8 billion tons of copper, 8 billion pounds of copper came out. When you go back up where you got your tickets, there's a green board on the wall to the left of that. If you look on that, it'll give you the pounds and ounces of every metal that came out of here. So there was a lot of it did come out. The gold paid for the operations of the mine for 11 years. Silver and copper, everything else was pure profit.
Oh, excellent.
Is the mining still on?
I'm sorry?
Is the mining still
No, sir, closed 1975, June.
1970?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They stopped the production or what?
Yes, sir, 1975. The price of copper went from $2 a pound to 25 cents a pound. And so it's costing you more to mine it than you were going to make off all of it. So.
Yeah.
And
Process the
basically,
ore?
I'm sorry?
Where do you process in the ore? Which place? After taking
The
the
ore processing.
Over processing. After taking
The
the copper.
processing of it, the processing, at first it was done in Bisbee. Then it was done in San Francisco. Then they built a smelter about 30 miles from here and it was done there. After that closed down, it was actually taken into New Mexico, into Animas Valley, New Mexico.
Animas Valley in Mexico.
So you can blast. And that's what this pattern looks like. Now those drills, they're different from different time eras within the mining industry. The furthest one up, the 2 furthest, weigh about 340 pounds apiece. It takes about 7 hours to drill 25 holes 7 feet deep. The small one at this end, it came out in the 1950s. It only weighs 110 pounds to 340, and it'll drill these same 25 holes in 2 hours as opposed to in 7 hours. And this is what it looks like. Notice 4 straight across the top, 4 straight here, and then in the middle you go into a circular pattern. It has to go this direction. And then across the bottom you have 4 straight. Now when you blast, you see this wooden structure here? It's a square where it is put over a city sewer main, then it's drained out, new chemicals put in, it comes underground. Now this is what's called a 9-man cage. Now the purpose of that, if you're working in this mine, you're going to ride the train in on this level. But if you're not working on this level, you get on that cage and it'll take you to whatever level you're working on, and you get off at that level and walk to where you work. It's like an elevator. Absolutely, that's what it is. Except it's an underground elevator, and it's not very safe.
1,500 feet down the ground level?
We actually go down 3,500 feet.
Down, this is
Down,
like
straight down. We came in 15.
1,500.
ஓகே ஸோ இப்போ நம்ம ட்ரெயின் வந்து ரிட்டர்ன் கிளம்புது.
Now the deeper you go, the hotter it does.
Right now we are in 1,500 feet. Yeah.
Yeah, we're
But
from
still
a
it will
still
be 3,000
door.
feet.
From the still door to here is 1,500 feet. Vertically, you're about 1,050 feet vertically down. So, yes, sir.
What was the minimum age to work in here, and did any ladies work in here?
Probably about 8 years of age.
Oh,
That would have been in the 1870s, and their job was to take care of the mules, and to, a miner could stop by at a restaurant if he wanted in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, order up lunch. You'd tell him what level he's working in, and about an 8 or 9 year old kid would deliver it to him. But then as you progressed, it became about 15 years of age was common to actually be employed doing something other than mule skinning. And then as time went on, of course, that changed and it got older and older. Women working underground, in this particular mine, there is rumor that there were some women dressed as men working underground. Fact or fiction, I don't know, but women were not routinely allowed underground. A number of reasons for that, but one thing, you're talking a community and an environment where at that point in time in history when we're talking about this mine, most of the ladies worked in the home, or they worked in the dry goods stores, or in the restaurants, that sort of thing. It really was not until the 1980s that women became commonplace underground in copper mining. Now you go to Colorado, go to Leadville, Colorado silver mine. It was operating when this first began also. Ran by a lady, a lot of female miners in there. You go to St. Elmo's, Colorado, same time frame. That mine is gold, ran by a lady, a lot of ladies worked in it. But mining silver and mining gold is totally different than mining copper. It's not as strenuous because of the way you do it, and I can explain that when we go to our next stop. Okay. Because when you're dealing with copper, you're dealing with huge amounts of tonnage every day. Where your gold and your silver, you're following this vein, and so you're chipping out around that vein. Yeah, it's a lot of hard work to it, but it doesn't require the upper body strength or the leg strength that you will find when you're moving 20 tons of muck a day. That's a lot of shoveling.
What about health issues versus like coal mining? You have that kind of lung issues, but what about this type of mining?
In here, usually in this is called hard rock mining. In hard rock mining, what you would run across is bad air, which also known as heavy air, and you feel that when you get into it because your lungs get heavy. You back out of it, that's easily drawn out. We had some silicosis issues before when they put water on the drills. At first they were just air. Get a lot of dust. There were pneumatics only, a lot of dust. Miners were dying from silicosis. Once they put water on them though, in about 1903, 1905, then that did away with the silicosis issues. What you have in the coal mine is a black lung because coal is extremely dusty. And it's just coal is a different environment. And you can walk into that and die and never even know you're in bad air. That's why you carry a canary with you. Let the bird die.
What was the light? There was a light, right? The Faraday light. No.
At first, the light underground was candles. Then it went to carbide lamps. And Bisbee was the third city west of the Mississippi to get electricity. And the reason was the mines. They had a lot of political pull. And so they had real poor incandescent lighting down here, but they did have some incandescents. But that was much later.
Is it common here? Silicosis like asbestosis. It's a lung disease.
Silicosis is a lung disease, yes.
Asbestosis.
No, we didn't have any real problems with that. The main thing they dealt with here was the silicosis.
excellent.
The power drill is a manual power drill.
The drills?
Yeah.
I'll show you one when we get.
Yeah, I saw
You saw those, yeah. Those are all manually operated, yeah. Okay, folks, if we'll head back where we got off the train, we'll get on. Now, there'll be another crew that we'll probably walk between them and their guide. If not, we'll wait just the side of the railroad track till they get in, then we'll go up to our next stop. When you get on board, face the opposite direction.
ஓகே அடுத்து எங்க போறோம் இப்ப
Go! I want some.
Find is as an area that has been mined out or is being mined out. Now this is the first stope that was cut in Bisbee. It is also the smallest. There are thousands of them, but let's go up and take a look at this. Okay folks, what you're standing inside of is a stope. Now this is man-made. This is not a natural cave. This is one of, like say, thousands of them. We have them big enough that you can drive a semi-truck through them. But with this one, if you look right up over here, you see the green. Well, that green is copper. Well, in mining, your sides are called your ribs, your top is called the back. If you look along the ribs and the back, you'll see a lot of green and blue. What that is telling you, in copper, it does not form in a vein like gold and silver and lead, like most minerals, but it forms in these large masses. So if you could have came in here about 1882, when they were starting to mine in here, and looked all the way around you, you would have been surrounded by green. And you would have been standing in the middle of this huge mass of copper. And it does go 33 feet below us. Like I say, this is our smallest ones. We've got them that are thousands of feet high and thousands of feet across. Now, as you're mining in here, like I said, we are the 4th largest producers of gold. And I'll show you what our gold actually looks like. If you look right up here, this is gold.
See gold. See this.
Now, the difference with this is when you look at this, is you're actually looking at iron oxides. You're looking at hematite, goethite, and dolomite. Now, iron oxides all carry gold. It is microscopic. If you ironed or mined out a ton of this, you get maybe 1/4 of an ounce of gold out of it. Now, this stope at today's prices would have produced around $3 million worth of gold, but it's all microscopic. What happens is you mine it out when you're mining out your copper. You send it to your refinery process, you crush it, you smelt it, you separate it, you refine it. Well, at the refinery, when you get there, your copper has to be 99.9% pure in order to be qualified to make your wire and your tubing and a lot of other things that it's used in. In order to make that pure, you extract your gold, your silver, your lead, your zinc, your magnesium, and any other product so that it is now pure. When you extract it, that gold is pure profit to you. You had to mine it to get your copper out. So your gold is basically free when you stop and look at the processing of getting it out of here. Now, if you look right up here, you see the rust colored there. That is hematite. That is our gold, one of our gold carriers. But if you look at the white, what you have in the white is silver and lead. Mainly lead, silver and lead often affiliate. That's what you have there. And you look in the middle of that though, and you see the green. That is copper. So right there in that small space, you actually have 5 different metals sitting there. And that's unusual.
5 different metals.
Usually when you're mining, you'll find maybe 2, if you're lucky, 3 metals. Bisbee produces 6 metals. And that's why it's called a bonus mine. And also our copper or our malachite, which we extracted a lot of the copper from, it's 25 to 35% copper, which is highly unusual. Usually malachite is going to produce about a 10% copper ratio, but ours was extremely high. Now, when they came in here, I'll show you how they mined this out. Now, bear in mind that these machines, this is a pneumatic drill like you saw in the back. They did not actually come out until the 1890s, and miners refused to use them because of the dust. No water, it was strictly air driven, it was killing the miners. They did not become in vogue until 1910. Miners struck not to use them in 1905. In 1910, the mining companies came back to the miners and said, look, you're going to use these or find a new job. We're going into a world war. By the way, Uncle Sam is hiring. If you don't want to be a miner, you can go in the Army. And so that's when these became in. You've got a screw right here on this particular model. You've got a screw through here, air pushes it, and that pushes your drill into the mountain. And you've got to hold on to it to control.
Does it vibrate like that?
Yes, it does.
Every time you have to lock?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
No power or auto?
No, it rotates and it hammers both.
So like a jack.
It's by striking it still, turn it a quarter of a turn, strike it, turn it, strike it. You turn it so it doesn't get stuck, and also you want a bigger hole. Bigger the hole, the more explosives. Now, once you've driven that in about 8 inches, you're going to go with a series of longer stills. Like this is about a 20-inch still. You'll wind up with a 48. And now then you're going to get serious about what you're doing. You're going to get yourself a 28-pound double jack. And the way that it operates is now a 2-man job. One guy has to hold on to this and turn it, and this guy, yes sir?
It's like made out of like a rock?
No, it's actually made out of steel.
Oh, it's like a rock.
Well, you know, now that you bring that up, actually back in the days of the rocks, but you're going to come around, you're going to strike this as hard as you can, you're going to circle right back, come right back into it. Now every time you hit it, the guy called the shaker has to turn it. He never can let go of it.
Correct.
He's got to hold it the whole time, turn it every time it's struck. Now the record for striking in a minute in Bisbee is 190 swings in 1 minute. Then the guy slowed down and maintained 180. But, you know, I feel for a striker. You know, how fast can you do this? And to top it off, they did it by candlelight. Because this was before the carbide lamps. It was before incandescents. And so when 2 men would come in here to work, they'd be issued 3 candles apiece. In order to make it through a 10-hour shift, they could only burn 1 candle at a time. So they'd light their first candle, start driving still. When it's almost burned out, they light the next candle by the first one and continue the process. Now they work 6 days a week, 10 hours a day. They made $3.50 a day.
Oh, that's all.
But at that time, a loaf of bread's a penny. A steak dinner is 10 to 12 cents. And a cowboy's
They were
only
earning more than today's value.
a cowboy's only making about $20 a month.
Were they creating the hole then? Or was there a hole for them to start with?
No, when they were using the small steel, they were starting the hole. Right, and then they went with the larger steel so it would go deeper in. They had to drill in this way about 4 feet deep. Now, the greatest depth driven in 15 minutes in Bisbee is 25 inches, 25 and a half inches in 15 minutes. And that was with a single jack.
Is it the copper? Now they make all the utensils,
Yep.
vessels and everything.
If you,
Copper?
and no matter what type of car you drive, it has several miles of copper inside it in the wiring. Your plumbing is made out of copper. Your telephone, telegraph lines, all of that is strictly
All the
copper.
electrical lines.
And one unique thing about copper is it will kill germs. So if you have copper wiring or have copper pipes in your house, you never have to worry about
Yeah, that's what we
disease
store
coming
in the
to-
copper vessel and we drink water out of
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. In fact, copper was what they found out is if COVID hits
correct.
copper, it dies it immediately.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. Any questions about anything you've seen today? Okay, folks, if there, yes, sir.
What do we see? Gold?
Well, that I showed the up here. This is gold. That is our gold.
That is gold. The
Okay.
yellow
They
thing.
like mine the gold?
Yeah, they did. Absolutely did.
There's one up there.
That is a still. You use it to bring rocks out.
Oh.
All right. Okay, folks, if we can go down, get on board the train. Now, when you get to the bottom, John will take your blue tags from you. Please, when we get back inside, if you meet me up to the counter where you got your equipment, I'll meet you there. Hang the lights at the end where you picked them up. Then hang the vest. I'll meet you at the other end and take the vest and the helmet from them. Again, thanks for being here with me, folks. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Thank you very much.
Let me open it up. There we go. Be careful going down the steps.
There you go.
Oh, this badge.
Oh, wait. You're going that way or this way? Oh, wait.
Need your badge back. Thank you. Thank you.
We're going back. We're going back.
Get it out.
Okay, folks, let's head on inside.
Thank you. Thanks for watching this video. நம்ம சேனலை புதுசாக பார்க்குறீங்கன்னா லைக், ஷேர் அண்ட் சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணிக்கோங்க.